Oh, good morning, homies. What's crack-a-lackin'? I hope that you're all doing well, and I'm not going to lie, but I am not awake enough to make this video. But I'm going to make it anyway. So, coming up to the great coronavirus epidemic age right now, we're going to have a lot of people wondering out there if they're still going to be able to get after their goals and if they're still worth going after in the first place. Whether it is that you're focusing on fat loss, whether it is that you're focusing on your fitness, maybe you're trying to go through some kind of rehab or rehabilitation, or maybe it is that you're trying to build muscle and get beefy, or at least trying to stop those gains from going away in the great corona age. The good news is that you probably already have all the resources that you need, and the other good news is that even if you have one of the more extreme goals, like you're trying to put on a bit more beef, you probably don't need to get as many resources you need to be able to make that keep happening. You just need to get better at using a little bit less and learn some of the tactics to be able to go further. So let's go through a couple of things right now and see if this whole age is actually going to stop anyone achieving what they want. So the first thing we're going to look at, is fat loss, because that's the main thing that most people are after, isn't it? So, fat loss needs two things, and it only needs two things. Well, that's a lie, it only needs one thing. It needs the calories to go down. And that's fat loss achieved. Everyone's good. And that's that done over with. Goodbye, homies. Nah, just kidding. Calories going down is the main thing, because at the end of the day, all you need for fat loss is a calorie deficit. But walking is still something that you are not banned to do. So walking goes up while calories come down. They just need to come below your maintenance level. These are the two most effective tactics for fat loss that have been here since before the Great Corona Age, and we never had any worries back then. Moving on, another aspect of fitness that we have is flexibility and mobility, which may be something that you need to get under if you need to improve your flexibility for some of the lifts that you have inside the gym, i.e. if you are a regular squatter, it helps if you've got more flexible hips and so on and so forth to be able to achieve better range of motion, or you might need to do some more flexibility and mobility to get rid of some aches and pains and niggles that you've got. All you need to do for that is you just need to stretch, which again is not inhibited by not being able to go to a gym. So we're good there. Might need to get some resistance bands, but we're good. Next thing we're going to get onto is respiratory fitness, your ability to be able to jog towards the end of the street without dying. Yeah, don't really need much for that other than some kind of aerobic activity, which again is not stopped by the great coronavirus epidemic. You can still be able to walk outside, you can go on little tiny jogs that are going out there, you can go and use some kind of exercise equipment that's inside parks, just assuming that you're not coughing and splurging over someone else. You can do at-home workouts, no problem at all. There's plenty of them out there on YouTube. I'm going to be putting up some myself. Honestly, the whole internet is going to be good enough for you for this, and you can put in as little as 10 or 15 minutes of effort every day, 10 or 15 minutes of effort once or twice a week. Anything more than what you're doing right now is going to be beneficial for you. So yeah, that's not going to get stopped by that either. Now this is where things start getting a little bit more complex. Muscle building. So the first thing that you need to know about building muscle is that the most important thing in the first place is that whatever it is that we're using is enough resistance for you. Depending on what muscle group it is that we're working, we might not need an awful lot of resistance. Now, to kind of give you an idea of how little resistance we're going to need in the first place, though, to be able to build any kind of muscle, you're only going to need things that are about 50% of your 1 rep maximum if you want to get bigger. Whereas training a lot heavier might be the most optimal thing for you to do. It's not the only thing that you can do. So if you don't have a heap ton of weights around your house, you don't have to be going super heavy. We don't have to be doing 3 rep max deadlifts and 1 rep max squats and all this kind of stuff in order just to get you more jacked. We can do an awful lot higher rep stuff, kind of working in that 15 to 20, maybe 25 rep range, especially just for a given period of time, and you're going to be able to get good results from that. However, a really awesome thing that you'd use this time for, which other people might set aside, time in this kind of thing for a rehab or a rehabilitation kind of thing, is working on muscle groups like the glute med, the TVA, and the rotator cuffs, which don't need much resistance at all. These kind of muscle groups here can be worked out just fine with resistance bands, with body weight, with little tiny weights, like a lot of things with the rotator cuff. You can use little 2.5 kilogram dumbbells or plates for that, and those things are going to get way stronger for all that. And these particular muscle groups will absolutely carry over to your big compound exercises. So If you bring up your glute med strength, if you bring up your TVA strength, if you are much better at getting core activation and better bracing, if your rotator cuff is a lot stronger, then when you get back to bench pressing and squatting and deadlifting much heavier weights in the future, you're going to have a much stronger, much more stable foundation to be able to work higher weights in the future anyway. So during this time, you could be spending 3 months getting these smaller muscle groups absolutely jacked as fuck, and then when you come back, you're going to do better in the gym anyway. Win-win. But let's dive into this one a little bit deeper, because there is more that you can get out of weight training. So again, we're looking at about 50% of your 1 rep maximum, which is going to be about 15 to 25 reps. That is the worst 15 ever. I am not sure what I was doing there. Other things that you're going to be able to work on are isometric holds. You can finish your sets, then lock out these weights at the end, where you're just going to be able to hold these static positions. You'll be shaking absolutely everywhere on the bench press, or maybe you're going to do it at the bottom of a squat. Maybe you're going to do it where you're going to be locked out in a hip thrust or something like that. You can hold these positions, develop strength through the isometric tension, take the muscle like right to the 10 points of metabolic stress, get loads of burn inside there. You're going to get way stronger from it. You will develop the muscle tissue better. You're going to develop a better connection with it as well. So yeah, iso holds are awesome. They're a great way to be able to take your muscle to failure and get more out of using lighter weights in a workout. Other things that you can do is that you can do pre-exhausting, so you can make certain muscle groups work harder by pre-exhausting them or their friends just before you do the main exercise. So i.e. you might do dumbbell flies before you go and do bench press, and then when you go and do bench press, those pecs are going to feel like they're going to get that much more out of it than what they would have done before. Other things that you can do is doing drop sets. So if you do have a decent amount of weight around your house, but you want to try and get the most out of it, like maybe it's not enough to completely feel like it's going to wipe you out, just drop set it to death. If you've got a bench press and you've got 60 to 80 kilos worth of weight or something like that, and they're all 5 plates, do your sets, knock a 5 off either side, do your set, knock off 5 either side, do more reps, and so on and so forth. You can do this kind of thing right down to body weight, and it's still going to be pretty goddamn good for you. Other things that you can do as well as just changing the exercise rotation, which kind of ties in there with the pre-exhausting, is working the muscle groups that you are weakest with first, so that when you come onto your stronger muscle groups, it's a little bit easier to be able to take them to exhaustion than it was before, when all their buddies that were helping them out with the lifts were all nice and fresh. So yeah, there's a bunch of tactics that you're going to be able to do to make the most out of what it is that you've got during this time. But I would say that if you are looking to build muscle mass, if you don't have a great big deal of experience in bodyweight training, well, first thing that you can do is stick around and check on my page, because I am going to be putting up a lot of educational content for this kind of stuff. But one of the best things that you can do is invest in yourself, like a little budgeted weight set from like an Argos or something like that. Literally get yourself 30, 50, 60, 70 kilos worth of weight. Get one of these benches out. You can get one of these things for like 100 quid on there. Get yourself some loopy resistance bands. If you can get yourself some of the resistance bands that goes around your knees for all kinds of glute exercises, then you're basically going to have everything that you're going to need to be able to get a strong ass posterior chain. That whole sentence works. So yeah, this is not the end of the world for you to be able to get after your fitness goals. It's just a demand for you to be a little bit more innovative than you were before, and maybe you're going to have to seek out some more information. And it's also going to be up to us, as the trainers out there, as the fitness people trying to lead this front line, to give you more information so that you can make the most out of this time. But together, we got this, homies. Boom.